Good evening, one and all. I am live using a new piece of software, so I'm on my laptop. So bear with me when I get used to this. As I move to the right, on the screen is going to the left, and as I move to the left, on my screen is going to my right. So, like I said, I'm using some new software, hopefully to make things better, more refined, but hopefully the message, the voice is still the same. Dropping your seeds of wisdom every Tuesday, 9:30. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is David Daniels. I also go by the name of the Shy Man on social media. Kind of just two words that really underline my story of shyness, overcoming that shyness and going on to public speaking on social media. I would love it if anyone could let me know, send me a comment if you can hear me, if you can see me okay. The quality could be better. It's just the technology I'm using, the laptop I'm using at the moment. If this works, then we will see in the future about upgrading things. But I'd love to know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's okay. Like I said, first time using the software, so it'd be really good to know. So I'm just going to experiment this a little bit. Is this perfect? No, but a lesson I learned last year was, especially with my personality and the way I like things to be a certain way, is I need to take action, make mistakes along the way, make failures along the way, and learn from those rather than waiting for everything to be perfect. So this is a perfect example of this. You'll have to excuse me because I'm battling a sore throat, the beginnings of a cold, but God is good and I'm fighting that off. So I'm going to be taking a few sips of water. I think I've got one person on. Let's see. Could you just let me know if you're on? Can you say hi? Can you hear me? It really be reassuring. I'm going to use my mobile just to make sure it's working. Last thing I want to do is deliver a great message and no one's watching it and no one can hear it. Alexa. Oh, so bear with me when I get used to this. I think we're doing all right. Lisa, I believe you liked the video. Fantastic, thank you for doing so. So we'll see how this goes. I may not get my usual audience, but you've got to be sometimes willing to take a risk. Anyway, this message I'm sending to you tonight is titled, What's Your Money Story? What's the inspiration behind this? So I kind of like to give people the message behind the message, how I come to decide what I'm going to speak about. Something I've only recently started doing. So basically two sources of inspiration for this. One was called a lady called Sarah Ponton Ryan, who I'm going to be working. She's actually going to be my mentor for the next 6 months in the property business that I've started. And part of that mentorship program was a discovery call. And in that discovery call, she mentioned we're going to be discussing about my money story. And I've never heard from that I took she was going to talk about my financial situation, what my goals to hit, financial goals, etc., etc. I never heard it put that way, and I really liked the way she phrased it. It made me think back about my own journey with money, and I will share that next week. Today, I wanted to focus on your money story. So that was the second source of inspiration. The first source of inspiration was just totally came out of the blue, which is what I love. What I'm doing, I can get meaning from anything. Anything can inspire me. And this was a newspaper article that I saw. And I posted it earlier, and I should have posted it again. I'll post it later. Basically, it's about George Osborne. So if you don't know who George Osborne is, he was a former Chancellor of the Exchequer. He's a former Chancellor of the UK government. And the newspaper article came out last week, and it basically said that George Osborne, he's got a job as an advisor with the US fund manager BlackRock, and excuse me, he's going to be earning £650,000 a year. £650,000 a year. And I just want you to think about, if you can comment, that'd be great as well. The much interaction in this, the better. Well, how does that make you feel when you first hear that? If you had a chance to read the article, how did it make you feel when you read the article? If you haven't had a chance, please read it. Hopefully what I say doesn't change what your initial response will be. £650,000 a year. And the story goes on. He's getting paid £650,000 a year to work 48 days. 48 days, not 48 weeks, 48 days. And I punched that into my calculator, and that works out £13,500 a day. Excuse me. Yeah, £13,500 a day. What was my initial reaction to this? I must admit, a little bit of me, my old self, I know what I definitely would, but a little bit of me said that that's an obscene amount of money. That's my initial, being honest with you, that's my initial response. And I'm sure there's at least one person who would have that amount that may have had a stronger reaction to that. That's an obscene amount of money. £650 a year, and the guy's only working 48 days. But then, kind of my new mindset kind of thought, okay, £650,000 a year, and he's only working 48 days a year. What could he do with that money? That money, if used in the right way and of the right motive, could help change people's lives. It could change the lives of the community. It could change his family lives. What was he going to do with that money? And then my thinking went on to, is he paying it? Is he being paid enough? Are they getting him on the cheap? And my message tonight is really to the people in the first camp. That initial reaction I had. It's not. It's for everyone really, but I've kind of leaning towards the people who think that's an obscene amount of money, because that's how I used to think. And even like I say, my initial reaction is still some of that there. That is a crazy amount of money. He's not worth the money. Blah blah blah. This blah 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 that. And I believe that for the majority of you who react in that way, your money story, your journey with money, your relationship with money is probably not what you want it to be, or you're probably undervaluing yourself. You see, most of us work in a job where your employer will set your salary, and if it's within the marketplace, whatever, that's the value you will put on yourself. But I'm telling you, most of us are being shortchanged. We're undervalued. Our employer is getting us on the cheap. Now, I'm not going to get everyone to rush to employer, ask for more money. But what I'm saying is, you base your value financially based on what someone else is willing to pay you. I'm talking about those who are working in a job. And that article really spoke to me and it really inspired me. That was the main inspiration for this message. And like I said, some of you who are thinking this is an obscene amount of money, I have an educated guess in saying you're not where you are, what you want to be. You may be struggling financially. Let's just put it this way. I'm going to be open about this as well. I earn in my full-time job about £20,000 a year. Now, that's another indication. For some people, they don't want to tell anyone how much they're earning. And that's totally up to you. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but for some of you, it is affecting your money story. The fact that maybe it's because you're ashamed of what you earn. Maybe it's because someone else may earn more than you. You may feel inferior to them because we kind of define the more you earn, the kind of more value you've got as an individual, as a human being, which is not true. So I earn £20,000 a year. George Osborne in 2 years will earn more than I do working 52 weeks a year, bar holidays and bank holidays and what have you. And that could create a jealousy. That's another thing. I could be jealous for George Osborne. Oh, he's not worth that. What's he doing for that? I work much harder than him. But am I the silly one? Am I the one working too hard for my employer? Am I the one undervaluing myself? George Osborne may think they're getting me. He may think they're getting me on the cheap. It's all about your mindset. It's all what's in here. Something else I found interesting about this article: George Osborne got sacked from the government when Theresa May, the recent current Prime Minister, came in. She sacked George Osborne. So in some people's eyes, he's a failure. He's a loser. And 2 weeks ago, I covered that message about how winners treat losing, because winners lose, but I think the way they see it, winners learn. They learn from their losses. So this is a guy who's been sacked from government, and now he's in a position where he's earning £13,500 a day, and he's working 48 days a year for this particular organisation. That's from a loser, from a failure. But I don't think George Osborne seems himself as a loser, as a failure. He's just learned from that experience. And furthermore to that, since being sacked from the government, he's earned £800,000 for speeches. Your life, your story is powerful, both as an inspiration to people, and it could also be powerful in terms of the money you can earn for sharing your story. I'm sure some of those, I don't know the content, the detail of those speeches, but I'm sure some of them may have been about his journey of being sacked from the government and that whole, and his time in government as well, in a very high pressured job. There's so much you can take away from this article. I would encourage you to read it. Just on another little point out there, a little thing I drew away. Former Prime Ministers Gordon Brown, Tony Blair and William Hague have all, since being in as Prime Ministers, have all been in positions with banks, with financial institutions. And I'm guessing, educated guess, that they've earned the same kind of money as George Osborne, if not more, if not slightly, but around that area. Again, people who might be seen as failures, people who have been criticised, and success is not measured, just solely not measured in money, as we know, but it's a case of their value, or how other organisations value them, the experience of what it is being like at the top. So some of us, myself included, have not wanted to take a risk to go into higher positions at work for fear of failure. But people will pay for that failure, for the lessons you've learned going through that failure. So I really urge you to read this article and just think about how, don't pretend, don't fake your feelings. What do you think when you hear these figures that George Osborne is earning? Well, how does it make you feel? And be honest with yourself. You don't have to share it now. Be honest with yourself. And like I say, I believe possibly your response to that could play a big part as to why you are where you are in your money story. So your money story is basically what I took from Sarah Pontarine. It's basically your financial journey. What does it look like? Some of you are in debt. Some of you are struggling to pay ends meet. Some of you are working numerous jobs all days of the week and literally burning yourself out, and you're undervaluing yourself. You undervalue yourself. Some of you are bemoaning your employer, saying my employer doesn't pay me enough or what have you. Well, then ask for a pay rise. But when you ask for that pay rise, you've got to prove to that your employer why they should pay you more. And it may be based on the achievements you've compiled in the past, but it may be also painting a picture to the value that you can add in the future. Some of the ideas you've got, sometimes you've got to prove yourself before you get the rewards. Is that fair? No. But like I've covered in the last couple of weeks, life is unfair, so just deal with it. Like I say, some of us are undervaluing themselves. So what does your money story look like? Maybe some of you just need to actually figure out what that story is. What has it been like? I've been in debt myself. I've been in times of real financial struggle. There's certain action that I've taken which have not helped me, and I'm going to be sharing that next week. Why am I sharing this? Sorry, I didn't give a full explanation. So I said last couple of weeks my messages have been about winners losing or learning, and switching those words around in order, if winners can lose, then can losers win? And I believe they can. And the next few weeks, I'm going to be sharing some case studies of people who may have been called losers or misfits, who have become winners in other people's eyes, and how you can start small but yet achieve big things. But for some of us, the money, finance is a significant blocker in our success, achieving more. So that's why I wanted to share this message with you tonight, and I'm going to share my money story, past, present, and future, and then we're going to jump into those case studies just to give you an inspiration, just to give you that first step of belief that perhaps maybe you could be in those shoes as well. One thing this broadcasting has given me is a time wise. I'm really keen not to stay too long because I really value your time. If anyone could tell me how long I've been speaking for, that would be great. Or I could just literally look at the time. Right, I've been going 15 minutes. Right, another 5 minutes, then I'll be out of here. So, yeah, your money story. What does that look like? Were you told as a child money doesn't grow on trees? What does that mean? Oh, I can't just get money just to pay for this. There's money. Money is a finite amount. It does run out. What does that tell your subconscious? That you can only earn a certain amount of money? I don't know. This is some of just the suggestions. Maybe those little sayings, those little well-known sayings that people just use and not realize. Oh, thank you. Hi, yes, Kelly. Thank you. 16 minutes. I've been speaking, and more importantly, that I know that someone's watching and listening and can hear this. Thank you. So yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. I'm sure there's many other ones. That's the one that sprang immediately to mind. Yeah, the wage that your employer chooses to give you, maybe that's been a blocker, and you can't see yourself breaking past that habit. Maybe it's the industry that you're in. Another common thing that some people may think is entertainers, footballers, all that get paid lots of money, but the people who do the real work, i.e. nurses, policemen, firemen, teachers, don't get paid nearly as much. And people think that's unfair. And like I said, we live in an unfair world. So deal with it. And the other thing you've got to think about sometimes, and again, is taking that initial reaction and really think these things through. Yes, I believe footballers earn a lot of money, but at the moment, football is a multi-million pound business. So you could argue, and to drill into the figures, you could argue that they're just earning their share of what is a multi-million pound industry. All depends on which way you look at it. But if your initial reaction is, oh, it's too much money, I only kick a ball around this and that and whatever, I challenge you to just really think about your thoughts or reflect that in your own situation. If your money story is fine, if you're happy with where you are in your money story, great, absolutely fantastic. But I know there's some people they're not, and some of what they're saying might be jealousy. Do you think when Tony Blair or William Hague read the story about George Osborne, do you think they'll be jealous of him? I believe that they're kind of the same bracket. What does that tell you about mindsets? Well, people on a certain level, maybe of authority or dealing with pressure at the top, perhaps have a different mindset to those who are not in that and maybe earning less. So I really want you guys to think about your money story. What does that look like? Are you in a ton of debt? Have you got spending habits that you can't control? What has been taught to you? Here's another thing to consider. What has been taught to you about money? What have people told you about money? One thing that's passionate, what have people not told you about money? Or debt, or educating you about what good debt is or what bad debt is, how to handle your money, how to structure your bank accounts, your savings accounts, investments. Because I believe your attitude towards money is a key into what your money story looks like. If anyone's got any comments, please let me know. I hope this has been of help for you. All right, homework. I've I've kind of shared some of it already. Just define what your money story is. What is your attitude to money? It could be even simple as how do you feel about George Osborne earning this sum of money? Or another thing to think about, you might think this is a lot of money. This US fund manager, BlackRock, the people heading up this organization, they won't be silly people. They're not silly people. Another thing, motivational speakers, some motivational speakers, the top ones in the profession, are earning thousands upon thousands. I've already said it to you, George Osborne. You may not think he's one of the most professional public speakers. He's probably just sharing his life. He's earned £800,000 in speeches since losing his job. I believe it was last year. Yeah, Brexit was last year. So in less than a year, he's earned £800,000 for speeches. Most of them, I'm guessing, will be corporate businesses. So you may be thinking, George Osborne, oh, he's earning a lot of money or whatever. Think about the businesses who are paying this money. Why are they paying him this money? They're business people. Their main objective is to make profit. So you may think that is a lot of money, but question things, look at things from other people's perspective. Why would a company pay George Osborne £650,000 a year for 48 days work? Just think about it. That could be your homework. Why do I set homework? Because I want you to take action straight away after listening to my message. I don't want you to make a ton of notes and then put them to one side and then forget about them. Action creates a reaction. Yes, it's good to know theory, it's good to know principles and that, but to live a fulfilled life, you've got to take action. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Christian, so for me, prayer and my relationship with God is paramount, but there are some things that God wants me to take action on rather than spending, I don't know, countless amount of times just sitting there praying, waiting for him to give me a divine answer. There are some things, and the challenge for me is to discern where I take action and where I just wait upon God, where he wants me to take action and he will speak into that action I take. What's Kelly say? Because he's, thank you. Oh, she's doing it. Yeah. Because he's worth it. What's that? Okay. New technology. That was a great comment, but I can't find it. Here we go. So yeah, that answered the question. Why would a business pay George Osborne £650,000 a year for 48 days work, £13,500 a day? Kelly says because he's worth it. The return he gets is more than they pay him. Yeah, exactly right. Thank you. They would have done their figures. They would have crunched these numbers into a spreadsheet and all imagine of software. They will get that money back and some for the value that he's going to add by coming in and advising. This is a man who's been at the top of his game in terms of political wealth as a chancellor. Whether you think he did a good job or not, he was in that job for a period of time. It's the same with when people corporate pay motivational speakers. They know if they can improve the productivity or inspire and motivate the employees just by a small percentage, that will show up as money in the bank. It's called an investment. And some of us are not investing in ourselves. We're selling ourselves short. We're looking at people like George Osborne and that and bemoaning him and being jealous and saying he's not worth that. By saying he's not worth that, he thinks he's worth that, other people think he's worth that. What do you see yourself? How do you worth yourself? How do you see your worth? I believe in my job, I'm getting underpaid. I'm satisfied because satisfied in one sense because that's kind of a ballpark figure in the industry I'm at. But my mentality is that they're getting more out of me than I get back from them, and I get back in other ways. It's not just money. They're fantastic in terms of family support, in terms of my issues with nutrition and lethargicness have been fantastic. So it's not just about money. But I give a lot of value to my employer. But at the same time, they take a risk in terms of business. The people who start the business, they pay me a fixed salary every month. They provided me with pension. They provided me with health benefits. So it's a two-way thing. But I'm going to leave it on this. What's your money story look like? What's your relationship with money? Where's your weaknesses? Where's your strengths? And are you happy with your money story? And if not, what do you want to do to change it? And if any of you don't know what you can do to change it, reach out to me, reach out to most of my friends on Facebook. They're all doing good things. A lot of them are coaches, business people, and I can give you, if there's enough of a response, I can do a Facebook Live on just ideas to help you increase the amount of money you earn without necessarily working harder, maybe just working smarter. So I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live. It's the first time on any technology. Let me know your thoughts. Apologies for the voice. It's not as clear as it usually is. And like I say, I'm fighting a sore throat at the moment. Just going to take another swig of water. Yeah, let me know what you think of the technology. Let me know if it's good or it's not as good. Please send me your feedback, and I'll take that feedback on board and decide whether to carry on with these or go back to the old-fashioned mobile phone. But on that note, thank you for the support. I'll probably overrun my usual 15-20 minutes. First time trying some new software. Thank you for the support. For those of you who are interested, I'm going to be back on Sunday with prayer time, Facebook Live. It's me sharing some of my Christian faith online with you through the power of prayer. God willing, I'm going to be using the same technology to have my first guest on here, Natasha Johnson. I just need to speak to her to get that sorted out, but we've spoken about this in the past. So, yeah, Simon Smile. I'm like, how do I end this? Oh, thank you, Kelly. Connection seemed better. That's good. Positivity, and I like it. Take care, all. That's the other thing I've got to say. If you feel this is of benefit to anyone, if you know of anyone who's going through problems of their money, debt, whatever, if you think this is going to be of benefit to them, then please share it. Not for my sake, so I can say this has been shared a million times, but for their sake. Okay? Take care. Love you all. Bye now.